and thank you for joining us on Shit You Should Know. Today we've got Simon on. You're going to be talking about...
I saw you
You forget it's called Shit You Should Know. So today we're going to be talking about our fitness journeys, where we've been before, where we are now, and how to work them into a busy lifestyle as well. And so Simon, do you want to start off just introducing yourself to the listeners in case they don't know who you are and why you're here?
Sure thing. Well, right. Hello everyone, my name is Simon and I am a photographer and a videographer working with small businesses to help elevate their social media and their online presence. And I'm here today because, well, I was asked to be here.
You're a guest appearance.
I'm a guest appearance today, yeah.
Yeah. So we had a little podcast episode a couple of years ago, I think it was. It feels like last year, but maybe it was 2 years ago, I don't know. And we spoke about the marathon training that you was doing from then. So I just wanted to see how things have been since and how fitness has been worked into your lifestyle now as well, because you've changed some of your business aspects as well, like now you do videography. So I just wanted to see, now that business is picking up, how the training is and everything as well. But yeah, first, how did the marathon go?
Right, so yeah, it was 2 years ago because I was just looking at the old clip that you posted, or looking for it. It's July 22nd. I thought it was last year, so time's flown past. And even though it was 2 years ago, a lot's happened, but not a lot's happened at the same time. But thinking back to that marathon, so that was my second marathon, and I'd done the one in 2021, and so my goal was just to try beat my first time. It's all about setting those measurable goals, micro goals to achieve. And the context changed just before I ran the second marathon, my uncle was diagnosed with stage 4 bowel cancer. And so I didn't know much about it. And cancer is one of those things where you know it exists, but it doesn't become real unless it comes into your circle. So I was reading about it, educating myself about it, and I just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to run for Bowel Cancer UK. Raise money, raise awareness. So running that marathon was about bowel cancer, and instead of just running the marathon, at the time it seemed like a good idea, I decided to run a half marathon 2 weeks before it, and another half marathon 2 weeks after it, all for Bowel Cancer UK. I only did 2 out of the 3 races. And that's...
Why was that, Simon?
Mainly because, as the expression goes, I'd bitten off more than I could chew. Like, my legs just weren't there after the full marathon.
Which two did you manage?
So I did the first half, and then, a fortnight later I did the full virtual marathon around here. And after that I was just in pieces, literally run myself into the ground. I was in, to answer the question, the marathon itself was great. I beat my target time, which is good. I raised just over £1,000. And fortunately my uncle's pulled through, he's had surgery, so everything's okay there. But I got the bad end of the stick after that because I was kind of, not bedbound, but I basically overworked my left glute to the point where it was just squeezing my piriformis, and it just felt like really bad sciatic pain, even though there was no disc bulge or whatever. So I was out of action until Christmas, literally laying on the floor. I was in that much pain. And looking back, probably didn't train enough, eat enough, hydrate enough for that volume of running in that 5 weeks. So so good news was I did the marathon, bad news was I paid the price afterwards.
Was you still managing to get your strength working while you was doing marathon training? That's not a PT trick question, that's just a genuine
Well, it's valid because...
If not, why not?
Next time.
Well, this goes to some of the future questions, but it was a question of time. Like, the business was really picking up in different ways at that point. So I was prioritising my work, and I didn't train my usual gym routine as I was doing the running training. The running training itself was quite intensive. A 20-week plan, 4 times a week, and after some of the longer runs, you just don't want to go to a gym for the next 2 or 3 days, So to answer your question, I probably didn't do a sufficient amount of strength-based training to support that endurance.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't feel the effects, but looking back, as you've highlighted, Luke, it's something I should not have neglected.
Well, training now? So since then, have you gone back into it? Have you kept the running up? Have you kept the strength work up?
So after my 3 months off.
Right on the microphone, mate. Couldn't get any closer.
We have got Mabel here as well. Really snoring.
that one, Jess.
I'm a guest appearance here as well, you know.
Welcome, Mabel. So, what was the question again? What's my training like now? So, after that 3 months of inactivity, painkillers and whatnot, it kind of dented my motivation and confidence a little bit, because I'd not only found my limits but just gone way beyond. I just thought, why am I doing this to myself? So I actually didn't really get back into the gym till about April or May of 2023. It was a long time off activity. It was a long time off. Then I gradually started doing just basic strength training, a bit more functional fitness at my gym, but it's just been really inconsistent since. I'm not going to be here to say you need to be consistent, because I'm not one to demonstrate that was the case. But yeah, so to answer your question, I'm in the gym, but I'm struggling a little bit, to be honest.
Go on, you go.
Is that because just work's getting busy, family life?
Yeah, a number of.
Stopping the consistency.
Do you know what? It's a number of things. Work, yeah, definitely, because again, this is my 3rd year business, busier than ever, and it's just trying to figure out. We say it all the time: work-life balance, how to make time and build habits for exercise. I still haven't figured it out yet. Not like it's a total disaster, but the fact that I've not had a training block consistently for more than, say, 3 months just highlights that it is, I think, like many listeners, we struggle with. And so I have been recently thinking, maybe I do need a PT. Maybe I need some sort of online coach for accountability. So that's.
Come in, but without your camera.
Can't make any promises there. Can't make any promises. But so that's something I'm exploring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congrats on being busy, though.
Yeah, I guess.
You've been working towards this for a long, long time.
I have.
Yeah, how is business going?
Business is good. I say good. There's a difference between busy and actually productive, though, I think. I think when you're self-employed, you can make yourself busy, but I think the vast majority of that busyness is just stuff that you could probably give to someone else to do, or you probably don't even need to do. So, in my line of work, in photos and videos, I struggle with achieving just good enough for the client. I'm always pushing towards tiny details in the edit that no one sees, but it bugs me. And my business coach, he's one to always point out these flaws as well. And he'll say, it's up to you whether you deal with them, because they're only important to us. But at the end of the day, learning what good enough is would probably help with the time management thing, to be honest. And
Well, you was at my brother's wedding. I loved everything you did.
really?
Joel's
Okay,
wedding, yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah,
Glad to
I
hear it.
loved it. What have been your favourite projects so far?
Favourite projects? That's a good question. Do you know what? I think it's not even about the biggest projects, it's more about my most favourite ones have been how I've helped some businesses. So there's one PT in particular who I've helped, and he lives in Peterborough. And so he is at a point of his business where he's got his own facility, and he kind of knows what he needs to do on social media and to get his name out there, but he doesn't have time. So this isn't a client who I need to sell photos and videos to. It's like, how can I just offload his burden of showing up online? And so there it's been about filming, but teaching him how to use it, how to automate things, and why he needs to do that. And I say why that's my favourite is because every now and then he'll send me a message like, Simon, it's been amazing, I've got my weekends back, I was able to, I didn't need to sit on my laptop for hours editing these reels, it's all done for me, so I just want to thank you for that's worth its weight in gold, all that kind of stuff. So it's those kind of projects there which really float my boat, whereas some people probably think the projects like the big CrossFit licensed events that I do the videos for, Like they're cool, but they're not, say, as fulfilling.
Yeah.
You know. And I think
You've changed someone's life, the PT, haven't you? You've given him his weekends back. That's life
changed his
changing to
life.
someone.
Oh, he hasn't said he's changed. I've changed his life, but I see where you're coming from. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
quite life changing. If someone's that busy and they haven't got any time to themselves, and chasing that, and then you've come in and been able to give him his weekends back.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
could be his family time or whatever he's doing. I think that's a life changing thing.
Yeah, maybe. And it does make me think how to shape my services now. Not like, Simon, I'm your PT life-changing sort of support, but it's more like it's not even about the photos or videos anymore. It's just more about how can I just support them in general as a service. So, yeah, some questions to ask myself this year on the business about how I'm
What is it you
marketing
wanna
it.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And you've been doing some different events, some weddings and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, so it's quite a mix. Since the beginning, it's always been a bit of commercial, a bit of fitness, and a bit of wedding.
Potentially another wedding coming up.
Potentially other wedding. Yeah, potentially other wedding. So yeah, it's a bit of a mix, and again, that it helps and it confuses me at the same time because, as you know, on social media or any business advisor will say you need to niche down, you need to become the specialist. Like you guys, you're a personal training facility. You know, it's nothing. Not saying it's not nothing more, but it's not everything to everyone, so to speak. Like it's quite a specific service. So, on one hand, do I need to stay true to my core of fitness and well-being, or is it okay to showcase all the other work I'm doing around that? So that's something I'm battling with, I suppose, this year.
I'm with you on that, to be fair. Like a lot of, especially, I don't know, I'm sure other businessmen will say that you need to niche down, you need to just speak to one. And I do get it online, like you do need to speak to a certain type of people, but like we train a massive range of people in the gym. From complete beginners to people that have trained for years to 20-year-olds struggling with weight to 70-year-olds struggling to move. Like we literally train everybody. And I can't think of anything worse than just niching down and just training one type of person every single session. Because I personally like seeing so many different people come from different backgrounds and be able to train in the same place with different people. And I love that. I'd hate to niche down to just one type of person and just speak to them all the time. But that's me personally, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I
like you, obviously.
Okay.
I feel like the niche is helping people and staying more accountable, isn't it? Rather than
The niche is
helping.
the niche is a marketing thing. This is my opinion. A lot of business mentors, especially, are saying that because they know that is what works with marketing. And I'm sure they're right. I'm sure they're not lying, but yeah, I think
get what you're
for
saying.
me it's personal preference. I still like helping a massive range of people, and I know the coaches here do.
Yeah. But when you say one type of person, are you referring to like a specific age, a specific
Like
background kind of thing?
some mentors will have you niche down to what people like to eat for the fucking breakfast. Like that's how specifically go, and it's like
Okay.
it's personal preference. It is. It's got to be personal preference, and I'm sure that works very well for some businesses and for some PTs. And I'm sure if we was to do that, I think our message is consistent on socials, but I'm sure, like from an online perspective, it might be different from a business point of view. But it's not for me.
Okay. Yeah, it's tough. I don't think there's a wrong or right answer for that.
No.
Because niche in itself it's kind of up to us to define what that is. Like what you said there, you want to help anyone and everyone. In a way, that is a niche because, you know, given what I do, I'm exposed to a lot of gyms and personal trainers and coaches, and yeah, all of them can say they help anyone from 8 to 80 years old. But the niche could be people at the beginning of their fitness journey, or people who've trained all their lives. Like already, it's two different demographics. You know what I mean? Even if it's the same age, or whatever. So. But I think finding who you want to help, that only comes with experience and time.
Yeah.
You can't get that from day zero. Look, you need to see who's coming through those doors and just leverage that, don't you?
I think as well for yourself, if what you're marketing is your niche of the fitness content and everything there. But if you're getting people like Luke and people that you know saying, "Oh, I know you do really good wedding stuff," and it's like you've not had to spread yourself too thinly and market it all. Like you've kind of got that just in the background of people who know you. So it's not like you've had to niche down on that. You kind of got that just in the background, which is quite nice, really.
It's a really good comment, because I was just having this chat with my coach the other day, and he said niche doesn't have to be defined by business sector. Niche can just literally be people, wherever they work, who just needs a storytelling. Whether that's in a gym, whether it's the clients, whether it's a wedding, whether it's dog grooming tips. I don't know. So yeah, it goes back to me saying like niche is up to us to define. I think as as you were saying, that traditional method of defining niche is an age, is a certain lifestyle, they drive a certain car and all that stuff. But it's just an idea. It's not like a rule, is it? So.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree.
Where to go from there?
Well, what was the first? What did you ask me before we went down that rabbit hole? It was, am I training? What am I training now?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll go back to training.
So what was I
Yeah,
saying?
what training are you doing now?
So right now, somewhat inconsistently, is my own thing, my own strength training thing. So I'm at this point where I'm 40 this year, and I've noticed, I don't know whether it was a mind thing, but my body's aching a little bit longer after workouts or activity. I need more sleep, I need more water, and I've just suddenly become aware that
Things are changing.
things are changing. I won't say going downhill,
Changing.
but like things I used to neglect are having more of an impact now as I get older. And so now I'm in the gym to try and, what's the word? Fend that off for as long as possible. I mean, you said you were going to ask me a bit about my why, so it's kind of bleeding into that a little bit. Like you asked me 3 years ago why I was training at CrossFit or whatever. It was literally because I'd never exercised before. I just wanted to see what happened. Whereas now, I've seen what happens, and now there's something bigger in my mind.
What is that? What's that bigger?
So for me, my why is it's related to my family. So the thing that really pushed me was about 6 months ago, my mum and dad visited from Hong Kong, and my 2 children, they're 6 and 8, they love to play, and they kept going to my dad saying, "Oh, Granddad, will you come play with me? Like, I want to go in the garden, or I want to do this and that." And my dad, I love him, but he's like a potato. Like he just.
You're not going to be watching.
I don't think he could be watching this, but even if he was, like, I love you, Dad, but he's just, you know, just sofa bound on his tablet. Like he's 65, he's got to where he is because he's comfortable, he's financially secure. But when I saw him, you know, unable to interact with his grandchildren physically, and without that energy, I just thought, I don't want to be like that when I'm 65 years old. And I know it's my dad who's sort of the anti-role model, but it's true. And that's what's driven me over the past 6 months to say, do you know what? I need to be as active as long as possible for my children. Like I want to go as far as I can with them. So...
And then if your children have children, you then need to be a
there's
granddad.
That's it.
So
that is
it's
it.
the longevity behind your training, isn't
Exactly,
it?
because I want to be able to outrun my grandchildren.
Yeah, that's my way.
That's your why as well.
Grandma.
I always remember those adverts of, you know, the painkillers when they're picking up the kids and they're playing and they go, "Oh, my back," and then the painkiller's like, "Take these so that you can."
Oh my
you can do it.
It's already there.
That's always in my head. It's like if training helps you be more mobile so you can move better and more freely without having to rely on painkillers just to play with your kids in the garden, then that's a big why, isn't it?
It is a big why, and yeah, but like I said, it's not a bulletproof why. I'm still not hitting the gym every time I need to go or want to go, but
You're more mindful, though.
what is
Can
it?
I ask you, what does inconsistent mean to you? Because what is consistency versus inconsistent?
I think consistency to me is showing up regularly. That's not to confuse frequency with consistency. Like, for me, consistency would be dedicating 3 times a week to go to the gym and maintaining that. Or even if it's just 2 times a week,
Yeah.
like making sure that sticks.
And building the habits. that it
Building the habit. Yeah, that's it.
Where are you at the minute? Are you once a week, or are you 3 times a week one week and then not the next week? Is it what's?
I would say on average I'm about 1.5 times a week.
Yeah.
1.5 times a week. So my ideal goal is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But just given the nature of my work, sometimes the Wednesday I'll be in Manchester or something like that, and then it's trying to find that time again afterwards. More often than not, I'll say, I'll just wait till Friday. And before I know it, I've only trained twice in that week, kicking myself for not maintaining that consistency and that habit. But yeah, ongoing struggle. But is that your take on consistency as well? Or?
Yeah, I try and train 3 times a week, but I've had to learn to say no to get that consistency. Because I'm very much a people pleaser, so if someone wants an extra session, yeah, of course I work low. Can you just do this for me? Yeah, of course I can. And then I was finding that I wasn't getting in the gym either, because I was putting other people on other things before my training. So I've had to learn to say no to find some consistency, which sounds mental, but that's the only way I've been able to get 3 sessions in a week and for it to be consistent.
I think I need to take a leaf from your book.
Start saying no.
Start saying no. Start saying no.
It's
So
hard.
a lot of
I
people-
find it so hard to say no.
Do you know, I was thinking about this earlier because when I was regularly going to my classes at my gym, I think what helps there is when you've got someone expecting you to turn up, like it's not just on you. Like now I think, actually, when people say you pay for accountability through a coach or through a training group, like it actually does. It does matter for some people, doesn't it?
And when it's in your diary, it's a thing that you're doing, and that's what you're committed to, and that's the accountability itself,
That's
rather than it just being like, I might do it then, no, I'll do it in 2 hours' time, no, I don't have time today, so then I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It just ends up moving around in your head, but if you have it in your diary, then
Yeah.
it's
Tell you
solid
what,
thing.
that is something I'm trying to do. Like in my journal now, instead of saying I'm going to work out 3 times at some point this week, try putting it in a specific time slot, like time blocking on certain days. Still not working all the time, but it's improving.
That's the thing, though.
But
Things
you're
like that, yeah.
flexible with it, right?
Yeah, things like that don't always work all the time. That's the thing, but it's there. As long as they're working, they're there most of the time, right? The majority, then it's helping. So, do you know what I mean? So, some people's inconsistency would be train 1 week and then not train for 3 weeks. Do you know what I mean? Whereas yours is obviously it's there. If you're getting at least 1 in, the next step will be to aim to get 2 in,
Yeah.
and then 3 once that's comfortable.
Yeah, I guess.
So I think like that once a week, that is consistency. If it was that you've not trained for 3 months and then you train for a week and then you're not trained for 3, that's inconsistent. But if you're getting that at least 1 every week, that's consistently training, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why I was asking as well, because sometimes I say in my head that, I want to do like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's my consistent training. And you put it in your diary, but then like you say, sometimes it does need to move and you have to be flexible. So then it makes you feel like you're inconsistent, but you're not. Like you're still ticking the box and still getting some sort of sessions in each week as well. So it's like consistently inconsistent.
Consistently inconsistent. There's a nugget. That's a takeaway, isn't it?
Inconsistently. Consistent. Yeah, the other way around it should be. Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? No, that's probably a good mindset shift. So instead of beating myself up for not hitting 3 times a week, it's more like saying, actually, if I'm at least getting the baseline once a week, the other 2 times, I suppose, not a bonus, but
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Maybe it's that way to think about it.
Yeah. Because they say that when you look at the benefits of training once per week, like the graph would go from 0 to 1, and then from 2 to 3, it's like there, like that much of an increase. So the amount of the increase from 0 to 1 is huge. Then to 2 to 3, it's like just a tiny little increase. So just doing that 1 is huge compared to nothing.
Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah. Should. Yeah. So do you have any other plans for business or training this year? What's on the agenda for you?
Plans for business and plans for training. Plans for business are just to survive again. I know it sounds really defeatist, but you know, with the amount of discussions I have with my business coach, that 5-year initial period is still quite fragile, I think, for any business. Like, you don't know when the next shoot's coming, and that's what keeps me awake at night sometimes. I don't have that stability I used to have in my 9-to-5 corporate world. So it is, the goal is finding a bit more stability, and that's working this year. So I'm getting some clients on retainers now who need that sort of long-term support. So I show up every month and we shoot what they need to show. I edit, I take that burden off them. And it's just finding those people, I guess, who need that support. Financially, again, it goes back to my corporate world. I'm trying to find a way to turn over revenue that matches or exceeds my old life. And that's just a personal thing, because when I left my old career, it wasn't accepted by some people in my family. So this is kind of my way to say, actually, do you know what? I can earn as much money. So
just for listeners, previously, what was you doing before going into
of course. So for 10 years of my life, straight out of uni, I worked in the nuclear industry. So I used to design fluid systems for nuclear power plants. So a bit different to what I'm doing now. And, it's that's not to say I hated it. It's just, I think when you do something for long enough, you learn a lot about yourself, like what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you like and don't like. So I know what I don't like.
What's that?
What I used to do.
Was there anything in particular about that? Was it just the structure of?
It was. Do you know what?
Same most days, or?
It was, a little bit of every day was Groundhog Day kind of thing, and especially in the nuclear sector, project timescales like 30 to 40 years. And so you could spend your entire career there and just see 1 or 2 projects from start to finish, and that killed me. Everything was in slow motion.
Yeah.
And it's complete difference to now, where everything's 2, 3, 4 week time frame, and things are varied. Another thing was that I didn't have time to work on myself. Like, it was sacrificed to the corporate gods to make my managers more wealthy. And so exercise wasn't even on my radar back then. I was really genuinely unfit, like really inert, sedentary, and pretty miserable, to be honest.
It doesn't sound like that.
That's why it all changed.
Yeah, that's why it all changed. But it's not to say people who choose that lifestyle it's not wrong. But again, it just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
It's crazy as well, because you're working hard there, and it's working hard, and it's draining on you. But the amount that we've seen you grow in the last 5 years, 5 years, 3 years,
three and a bit.
You've been working, would you say, just as hard? Even harder.
Do you know what? Sometimes.
But you've actually enjoyed it.
Sometimes it feels like I'm living my old life, because I'm waking up, sitting at that computer some days, the whole day, like either it's marketing or admin or in spreadsheets and whatever. So it's, in some ways there are similarities. It's kind of weird.
But it's for you now.
But it is for me, and the days where it isn't like that, where I'm out in the field, where I'm at these events, where I come to meet new people, new business owners, I suppose that's what keeps it going at the moment.
I guess the change in it as well, and the spontaneity of every week is just a bit different.
Yeah, there is that. And I think importantly, because I still feel I'm in the beginning of this phase, and it's important for me that I'm always learning something new. So in my old job several years in, you kind of figure out how things work, what you need to do, even shortcuts to achieve what you need to achieve. But now it's like, I need to learn not just how to use the cameras, but sales, the marketing, and everything that goes with like running a business. So I still feel like I'm a student actually. Even though I'm 40 years old, I still feel like I'm a student. But I figure that's what keeps me ticking.
Yeah. I think that's a huge thing, isn't it? The purpose and having something to work towards and working to. Because a lot of people just get stuck in that same cycle of doing the same thing, and it just drains them, and they don't have time for anything that they actually want to do. And like I say, that work-life balance just ends up going on.
I challenge you on the time thing because it's something I see all the time in the fitness world is that people don't have time to exercise, right? But we all have time. Like we all have the same number of minutes and hours in the day. And so for me, it's a question of priority. And what I'm getting at is, like fitness professionals will say you need to find time or you need to find your why. But the person who's comfortable on the sofa watching Netflix, they're not going to go out their way to look for the why as to why they should come to train in the gym. So I don't know where that came from actually. What was I saying?
I said about challenge the time.
Time, right? Okay.
So
what I try to encourage some business owners to do is to, like, we almost have a duty to educate them about why they should make the time. Like it's not all their responsibility, and that goes into, I suppose, sharing more stories about why people have joined your gym and what they've got out of it. Or it might be that they do see their dad unable to play with their grandchildren and realising, oh, I don't want to be like that anymore. So,
because a lot of us wait till it's too late, and we're very reactive rather than proactive, isn't it?
This is it. And I think fitness is on the back foot there. So, like, yeah, it comes to priority. Like, if your kitchen sink starts to leak, you bet you're going to bring a plumber ASAP to fix that, otherwise your kitchen's going to get flooded, right? If you run out of battery on your electric vehicle, Luke, like, you're going to think, well, how do I charge it because I can't move anywhere? But I think exactly
there'll be an app for it somewhere.
Got to be an app.
but I think for Gen Pop, when it comes to fitness, if they don't turn up to the gym one day, there's no immediate consequence, unlike the league or the flat tire or whatever. So I think that's why it's hard, I think, to get people committed.
Yeah. That's why we've started going into the corporate side of coaching as well, so that instead of people having the excuse of work's too busy, don't have the time, don't have the money, anything there, we're actually going into the employer and saying we can help improve the productivity of your staff, the mental well-being, they'll take less sick days, there'll be a better workforce, and make it part of their work package, so that it's not a case of, oh, this is my work life now, this is my fitness life, and they don't quite go together. It's like, actually, fitness will improve your work life as well. So that's where we're trying to go into, so that instead of, like, lots of workplaces have, like I said, the reactive stuff, like, the health insurance, so everything that they can cover. If this goes wrong, if that goes wrong, you'll be covered with your workplace employee benefits, but there's nothing to say will actually prevent you from getting to that point and improve your mental health, your health in general. So that's where we kind of want to go with that. And that links in what you said before, where your employer wants you to work so much that the money's better, everything's more productive, but not realising that you could be more productive if you're taking better care of yourself. So it's those benefits as well, isn't it? It's not just about getting a six-pack.
I think that makes absolute sense. You're breaking down barriers to accessing the fitness, aren't you? What I'm intrigued by is how long have you been working with, say, the longer term clients on that side?
Not very long. It's a new project that we're getting started,
So I'm intrigued from a business perspective, like how do you measure, everything you said about making a workforce that's more productive, and like how do you think
that's... How do you see that? Yeah. It's going to be a tricky one, because we've got to almost go in and convince everyone that they can trust us as well, and trust what we're saying. But with 8 or 6 week reviews, we'll be every week we'll be asking what your energy level's like, what's your sleep like, how's things been, so that we're not just going, have you lifted any heavier, are you in a calorie deficit still? Like, we're not just asking those questions, we're asking further into it. So every week we'll see if there's changes, and then every 6 to 8 weeks we'll see the bigger changes. And it's something that we do in the gym as well. So it's like we've tested it here, and then we'll test it, see over there, like with the bigger online version of it. So yeah, that.
So, question to both of you two on this one. So just on the back of that, so like saying like productivity, energy levels, you know, when like obviously with you saying you've committed to saying no more, training more, and you, Simon, when you having more or training a little bit more frequently, do you notice differences in business, in work, in everyday life, in mum life, dad life, sleep, anything like that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You feel like you've got more energy. I'm happier. Like, I'm a happier person when I'm consistent with my training. I'm not as snappy. I'll sleep better. I'll make better choices with food. If I'm not training, I'm eating terribly. And I don't mind admitting that as PT.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, it's that circle of everything goes together. So you sleep well, you eat well, you're moving, you're exercising, you feel good, and it all goes round on one nice little circle.
Take one of them out and then the rest
all
of them
falls down.
Yeah, but I think if you take
definitely,
training out, that's, for me, that's the one that knocks the rest of them. So if I had a bad night's sleep, I would still go and train. I've not really slept for 3 days and I've still trained today. I still train today. So that's not the kind of the one that knocks it out. If I've not slept, I'll still probably eat okay. It's the training for me that if I miss that, it can knock everything. Which is why I've had to learn to say no, because I've noticed that the past kind of couple of years that it does make a big difference to me.
Okay. Yeah, I resonate with that. Saying that I've not actively gone out of my way to track how I feel from week to week, but I've definitely noticed, my wife's definitely noticed, whenever I haven't trained like for an entire week. Like, the thing is, for me, it's such a gradual sort of slip. I don't realise it from day to day, but then my wife will just, on the Sunday, be like, "You're so miserable today, Simon." I'd be like, "Oh, right, yeah, it's because I haven't been to the gym, I'm not moved. And because I'm not moved, I've not fueled myself properly. And if you're not fueling yourself, you're not sleeping properly." Like you say, it's just a domino effect, isn't it?
It is.
But to answer your question, 100%, the more I move, the more we move, the benefits are there.
I feel like with training as well, you just get those wins, like you said, in the work life. If you've not got those wins at the end of the project regularly, you don't get that reward. But with training, you're like, even just the fact that you have trained, that's a win. Whether it was a good or bad session, it makes you feel good. So then that relays onto like the next 3 days, because you've known you've done that. And then it's always a benefit if it's, I did lift heavier, or I ran for longer, or whatever the benefit is, makes you just feel good, doesn't it? So then that does go on to your everyday life.
So for your clients then, do you get them to sort of self-assess their progress, or do you help them find goals to achieve, so to speak?
Yeah. So every week we usually have a check-in of how did this, just a nice little short of what worked well this week, what you're proud of, what didn't work so well, what was your barriers, what got in the way, and what do you want to work on next week. So it's like a good, a bad, what we're going to do to move forward. So then we'll look through that and then pick up on, actually you said this worked really well and this didn't, but you didn't say about how we're going to fix it, or you said we're going to fix this, but how are we actually going to do that? So we're always breaking it down and always asking, how are your energy levels, and if sleep's been really bad, and then they're beating themselves up about, I ate really bad. It's like, well, you said you didn't sleep very well. You can't beat yourself up about that. Like, your body is going to want to eat more. Yeah. So we're just helping them be a bit more forgiving and understanding, like Jess said, that circle and how everything relates, so that you're not feeling guilty or bad about any of the decisions you make, and see how they all integrate.
That's good. That's good, and that is important.
Yeah. What would you say about the check-ins? Nothing. But we do 3 month check-ins as well, just so we do the weekly things and make sure everyone's okay. But then every 3 months we're like, right, 3 months has gone back, because it goes quick as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's so much you can or can't achieve in that 3 months, so it's good just to sit down and go, right, 3 months has actually passed. What have we done? What have we achieved? let's reset if we need to, and what do you want to move forward with as well. So have those weekly checks, but then also the 3 month of
Like a
time
big
to
check
Good to get an overview. So,
Yeah.
I think I need some of that. So right now I'm just going to the gym, I'm lifting. Like, well, is that a little bit heavier than last week? Yeah, that's fine. But,
We're going to get a big stretch right now in the microphone again. Yeah, so is there any pointers that you wanted to wrap up with? Any messages that you wanted to take listeners to take away? About fitness, about life?
it's getting deep, this, isn't it?
Always these other podcasts.
What could I say? I think everything I'm going through at the moment, I mean, people say, oh, Simon, everything looks great online, your business looks good, but like behind closed doors is hard. And what I will say is, like, you have to find help. So yeah, I'm not shy to say I'm part of an online men's circle, and it's literally the only place I've found where I can just express myself, like, no judgment, and advice is only given when I ask for it. And so all things like my insecurities and my fears, that is the only place I can sort of...
That's your garden.
Yeah, that's my safe space.
space,
It's my
yeah.
safe space. So,
Is
and
that
do you know what? It's
Could anyone join that?
I say, well, a niche is well, it's a men's
It's for men.
sort of men's only circle, really.
I was just thinking if any listeners or anyone wanted to join, is that?
Yeah,
something?
potentially. I mean, I'll share the link with you for the caption. But yeah, it's basically something called the Make Ready Men Brotherhood.
is that a local thing, or is it an online?
It's online. I say online only, but they meet up. Or say we try to meet up every 2 or 3 months for like an outdoor hike, because getting out and connecting with the world is quite a big deal. One of the values of the group. And there's like a 3-day retreat planned in June where we go and shoot bows and arrows and make bonfires and bushcraft.
Be real men.
Yeah, just be real men.
Real men.
And it's weird because, like, when I first joined, I didn't really speak about it. I just thought, oh, it's almost like I'm accepting defeat, that I need to resort to this kind of circle. I should be self-sufficient, self-employed, you know. But actually, having that sort of cushion there, it's helped me a lot, I think.
It makes you a stronger person
Yeah.
for being
I
involved
think
in
so,
something like
because I don't know about you guys, but I bottle a lot of feelings up
that. Yeah, that's me.
to the point where
I think we're all as bad as
and it's almost avoiding that point where you just erupt.
Oh, that happened.
You know what I mean?
It
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
in here.
So
Jeeves
this-
walked in crying, I've walked in crying. Luke just patched you on the back.
I just put it in the corner.
Luke just
We're
tossed
not
me
looking.
to you.
I'll try that one next time. So yeah, the takeaway for where I am in my business and my life is, like, you know, there is help out there where you might not know it, but there's resources to deal with whatever life sort of throws at you.
Yeah. And what another thing, just to pick up on what you said like being defeatist, asking for help, but actually if you don't ask for help, then you're actually defeated.
Yeah,
But
that's what
asking
it
for
makes
help
you
is
strong, doing that.
taking care of yourself, like getting a PT is helping you stay accountable. It's not because, oh, you have no accountability. It's like, no, you have the resources, use them.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. Yeah.
Or even like if it comes to nutrition, if you're buying HelloFresh or Gusto, it's not that, oh, I can't cook. It's like, actually that saves me time, saves me resources. Like there's all these things to help us, and it's whether it's therapy, coaching, nutrition, friends, support, anything. It's not defeatist. It's using it.
That's a nugget. No, it's true. It's true. It's, you know, knowing when to ask for help is a sign of strength.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, it's been good to have you on today. Thank you for joining us. It's been a good chat. And we'll wrap up there, really. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Simon.
Thanks for having me.
I'll just end that.
Send it the sneezes.
Well,
I was hoping that wasn't going to be me halfway through that. Just like that.
I
I'm going to
was
be
thinking
sneezing in a minute. I'm going to be gone.
She knows you're allergic to it.
I never really know how to bend knees.